One of the three attackers involved in the London attacks last week have been identified as a Pakistani-born British man. Police released the names of two of the three men who carried out the high-profile attack in the heart of London last week. One of them was already known for his extremist views among his neighbours and had been reported to the authorities years ago. He had also appeared in a 2016 British television documentary called The Jihadis Next Door. Here's a report.
Because he's white and he's English, he can go, but all of us that were just praying, we have to stay.
Hiding in plain sight, on the street, captured on camera. This is Karam Butt, one of the men police say carried out the attack on Saturday night, which left 7 people dead and almost 50 injured.
So we were praying to the speaker, that's all we were doing.
Defiant, playing to the cameras perhaps, claiming police harassment for simply praying. But later in the Channel 4 documentary in London's Regent's Park, he helps as his group unfurl the black flag, which has now become synonymous with Islamist terrorists, ISIS. Tonight, more than a year after this footage was broadcast, Karam Shahzad Butt from Barking was officially named by the Met Police as one of the terrorists. The second, named as Rashid Redouane, also from Barking, and a third is yet to be identified. So, a key question tonight: what was known about the attackers, particularly Butt, his image and views made so public? People who know him say he was a man who didn't hide his extremism. And this is where it all ended. The scene at London Bridge, moments after the 3 attackers drove a hired van directly into the crowds of people enjoying a night out. They then jumped from the van and began randomly stabbing passers-by with foot-long knives in nearby Borough. Watch closely here as people run for cover in Arthur Hooper's, a restaurant in Stony Street. As the manager tries desperately to bring down the shutters, one of the attackers tries to prise them open to reach the people sheltering inside. The manager only just closes the door in time. Within 8 minutes of police being called, the attackers lay dead themselves, their pretend suicide belts around their waists, shot dead by armed officers who fired an unprecedented 50 rounds. Since the attacks, there have been a string of police raids across East London, including in Newham, Dagenham, and here in Barking, where Butt lived with his family. This confrontation between Butt and police officers was filmed by the Islamic extremist group Al-Muhajirun. In recent months, neighbours say Butt had become obsessed with Islam. This man, who didn't want to be identified, spoke to our reporter Asad Beg.
All the time we were meeting, he was speaking about, you need to be a Muslim, otherwise God is going to punish you. I was a moderate Muslim for him. I'm a Muslim, but I don't believe in extremist Muslims. He was always saying to me, oh, if your missus doesn't become a Muslim, you're going to end up in hell.
Within the last hour, the Met Police say Karam Butt was known to them and MI5. In 2015, he was under investigation, one of 3,000 subjects of interest. During that time, they say they did receive a call about him, but some months later, they found no evidence or intelligence of attack planning, so he was no longer deemed a priority. The police said Rashid Redouane was not known to them. Police say they are still trying to find out if Butt and his accomplices were part of a wider network. They've appealed to the public for any information about the men, one of whom they already knew, but who somehow managed to slip the net.
More reactions coming in on this man who was a Pakistani-born extremist but a British citizen. Take a look.
In the case of India and Pakistan, it is well known that kind of activity is not happening when the cross-border things are happening. But between MI5 and our intelligence agencies, there should be a better coordination, should be a better exchange of information so that neither of us end up being the victims.
This is not surprising for me. You will find Pakistani jihadi everywhere, all over the world, and Pakistan has become the factory of the jihadis. Now the UN, US, European Union, they must take serious note of it.
Here, what is the Pak connection is going to be very difficult to prove. And Pakistan has kept itself, the government, the ISIS, kept itself relatively, I will say, insulated from being pointed a finger towards them. Yes, the basics is this man is a Pakistan by birth and he grew up in UK and has done this heinous attack. We may not be able to pinpoint it to Pakistan.